Something is shorting out down there, and I do not know what it is. All right, so one of the items on my to-do list today is to attempt to diagnose an issue with this car that is intermittent and I don't fully understand. And by intermittent, I mean extremely intermittent, like once a year intermittent. So that sets up our challenge pretty good. It is an ignition issue. What happened with this car is I did a full ignition tune-up on this car just over a year ago, so it would have been February of 2023. And shortly thereafter, I was driving out of town. I was in the middle of North Carolina. I was hours away from home, and I was pulling off of the highway, and as I was pulling off the highway, the car started acting terribly. It started misfiring, like extreme misfire, like not one or two cylinders. The first thing you have to understand about this car is that the entire ignition system is covered up with plastic covers. When you pop the hood on one of these cars, you will never see a spark plug wire. You will never see a cap. It's all covered up under various plastic covers. So I started taking this stuff off, and miraculously, the car ran perfectly, and I went about my life. A few weeks later, I took this stuff and I put it back on, and at that time, the car immediately started doing the exact same thing, like severe, fatal misfire as soon as I started putting these little covers on. So I put probably 20,000 miles on this car since removing these, and it has not had the issue again until a couple weeks ago, it reared its head again. Severe misfire that was so severe that it stalled the car. Now, fortunately that day, I was able to shut down the car, restart the engine, and as soon as I restarted the engine, I think I had to give it some gas to kind of pull it out of whatever it was doing, but after that, it was fine. It was beautiful. Basically, there's some kind of an issue. It's exacerbated by these, and it's extremely intermittent. So, and it's ignition related, and that's all I know. So what I'm gonna try and do is I'm gonna start by trying to reinstall these one at a time, and I guess see if I can get the car to do the thing. But yeah, so you can see like, it basically opens up the top of the timing cover. You can see the timing bell, which is not really good. You wanna have that covered up. But this is how I've been running it for the past little over a year. So we're gonna start putting those covers back on and seeing how the car responds. All right, so as you can see, engine's now running. I figured before I started to put these covers on, what I would do was I would just try to do some calculated poking, if you will, and see if poking on any of this stuff will cause anything to happen. Yeah, so the poking didn't do anything for me, so I started putting this cover back on, and as you can see, this goes right over that, cam sprocket, I guess if you want to call it that. Anyways, I decided to do this with the engine running, and when I put this on, let's see if I can get it to do it. Yeah, see that? Do you hear that? Yeah, that's the issue. You can hear when this goes down, there's a definitive electrical arcing sound that occurs. This is causing, yeah, you hear that ticking, that electrical ticking that happens when you push this down. The engine starts to die. Something is shorting out down there, and I do not know what it is. Yeah, check that out. That's it. That's the issue right there. Something is in there, it's shorting out. My question is, what is happening under this cover that I cannot currently see? Where is this short? You know? That's what I got to figure out. All right, so I went back and took another look and continued this strategic poking, trying to look around for any signs of arcing in these wires. I mean, they are new, or they were new a little over a year ago. So as you can see, this rat's nest of wires, I don't know exactly how they intended all this to be routed from the factory. The only thing I can tell you for sure is that it was not this. This was not the goal. So I was looking through these and I figured, well, probably what I did was I routed these completely horrendously, and then I tried to jam this cover on, and then in the process of jamming the cover on, probably what happened was that one of these wires became corrupted. And if you zoom in, this is the coil wire. See, this is one of our two ignition coils right here. And actually the way this car was running, like I stated earlier, years and years ago, back in 2017, this ignition coil actually died entirely on me. This is, of the two ignition coils, this is the one that always dies on these cars because it's under the valve cover, so it gets oil seepage and another rant. Anyways, this car, when it has the issue that's having, acts exactly the same as the day this coil died all those years ago. So I noticed this spark plug wire right here is looking a little bit worse for the wear, and when you press on it, yeah, see, there we go. There she goes. Yeah. So when you press on it, it arcs over to this, what is that, a power, that's a, I guess that's a coolant line. Yeah, that's an antifreeze line. It's a metal antifreeze line. And basically, yeah, see, there it goes, it's sparking again. I mean, it's like if you look at the way they designed this, I think this tiny little rectangular cutout is where this coil wire is supposed to go through, because you see, that's what goes on the cam sprocket. And then I think that is where the wire, I believe that cutout is where that wire is supposed to go through. So we need to just be more careful this time. And as far as the coil wire itself, so what I think I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and electrical tape that guy up as good as I can. And we're going to slam this cover back on. It ought to be good to go from there on out. I don't think we're going to have the issue again. That's good. I was afraid that was going to be potentially difficult to diagnose. I don't know. Yeah, this is the best car I ever had. I mean, this will go down in history as the best. I will never own a better car than this. You can't. Nobody's ever going to build one. Yeah, just a closer look at the at this plug wire that was all scarred up. Yeah, I don't know how. I don't know how I managed to mangle that so bad. I think this is all entirely my fault. I think I just routed these very poorly and sloppily. So yeah, so we're going to I got my electrical tape. We're just gonna doctor that up, band-aid it, try and route it through the requisite little rectangle that Toyota gave us there, slap it all together, and send her back down the road. All right, that's a little bit prettier rather than all those blue wires going everywhere. Got all our very pretty Toyota plastic covers back over the ignition system. We routed the wires correctly this time. Yeah, that was the issue, was that little rectangular cutout. That's where this wire is supposed to go through. And basically, previously I had just slammed this cover down to where it was pinching this spark plug wire. That was the entire issue from the very beginning. And so, as long as it starts up and runs fine now, I'm gonna declare it satisfactory. Yep. Perfect. AC still works. Can you believe that? Freon from October of 1992. Never put Freon in this thing. All right. I think we're gonna call that one. As a result, first Budweiser Zero of the hot season. I think I earned that one. And as an added bonus, as I walk back in the house, cross one off the to-do list. Oh, that's the best part. Yeah, fully satisfactory.